snack. Me and you gonna have a little chat about books. Hi guys! So today is the last day of April and I'm here to do my April wrap-up, so let's get started. So I actually managed to read 9 books in April, which I was really happy about because April was quite a busy month. Even though I was on holiday for a lot of it, I still had a lot of stuff that I needed to get done over the holidays and I wanted to meet up with friends and so on. So it was a busy month. But yeah, let's get into the books. So the first book that I ended up reading in April was Red Seas Over Red Skies by Scott Lynch. This book was amazing. I loved it. It was the second one in the Gentleman Bastards series, which I read the first one, Lies of Locke Lamora, back in October, and I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed this one as well, and I ended up giving it a 5-star rating because it was just so good. And it follows the story of Jean and Locke. Again, they are wonderful, witty, fantastic, fun characters, and they go on a big adventure involving all sorts of exciting stuff, including pirates. So if you like pirates and you like fantasy, it's a pretty good combination and I would definitely recommend this series to you guys. Next, I picked up The Colour of Magic, which is book number 1 in the Discworld series by Terry Pratchett. This is quite a short book, but it took me a little while to read because you don't have chapters that you can stop at throughout the story, so it's a little bit hard knowing where to stop and when to carry on because it just seems like it's one long chapter for the whole book, which can be a little bit problematic if you like to stop at chapters and sort of check how long you've got to the next chapter. However, once I did get into the story, I really enjoyed it. It's all about this wacky world called Discworld. It's a very, very, very funny place. A lot of wacky characters, very exciting characters, very, very funny, entertaining situations that they get into. And it's just a wonderful world. If you have never read any Terry Pratchett, I would definitely recommend it. He's an absolute star writer and he really makes you think. Even though it's a very funny, light-hearted story, it does have some darker, deeper, thought-provoking stuff as well. So definitely it's worth the read. I only gave it a 3-star rating just because there was so much world building being set up in this book, but I did really enjoy it. And then I did go on to pick up the second one in that series as well, later on in the month. Next I picked up Ready Player One. This is a standalone book by Ernest Cline. I had heard about it being really good for ages and it was one of those books that I had just had on my shelf for absolutely way too long. And I just wanted to read it, so I picked it up, and a lot of you guys said that it was going to be amazing to me, and you were right. It is an astounding, fun, exciting, really captivating story the whole way through. It's about this world where there is this online virtual reality called Oasis, and it's so good. All of the characters are really believable, the plot is really fast-paced, and it's just a wonderful, wonderful read. It really makes you think about what our future could turn into, and I ended up giving it 5 stars because it was amazing. I would definitely recommend Ernest Cline. He has another book which is coming out next year and I really want to get that, so I'm definitely excited about that. Next, I decided to pick up The Republic of Thieves, which is book number 3 in the Gentleman Bastards sequence by Scott Lynch again. This one I really enjoyed. It was just as fun as all the others. However, there is a little bit of a love-romance situation which is going on for a lot of the story, and although it was well told, it just was a little bit annoying at times. So I did not like it quite as much as the first 2, but I would definitely say carry on with the series. It's definitely still worth reading. It's a really good book and I gave it 4 stars. Highly, highly good book, and I'm really excited for the next one when that comes out. Next, I picked up a book that I really hadn't heard very much about on BookTube or just at all, and that was The Dwarves, which is by Marcus Heitz. This book, I didn't know anything about it, like I say, but it turns out that it is actually a very classical fantasy, very much like Tolkien. If you like Tolkien, you'll probably like this. However, this focuses solely on the dwarves. There are other races involved, such as wizards and all sorts of other things, evil dwarves, elves. It focuses mainly on the dwarves, especially one young dwarf called Tungdil, who is the main character. He is our hero, and it's just a really heartwarming story, very classic fantasy, so if you like that, then it's a brilliant book. I ended up giving it 4 out of 5 stars. I thought it was really, really well written, and I definitely want to pick up the next one in the series very, very soon. Highly enjoyed it, so I would definitely recommend it. Next, I picked up Furies of Calderon, which is book number 1 in the Codex Illyria series by Jim Butcher, and this was a really, really good read. It was so fast-paced and so exciting. It's based in a world where people have these things called Furies. They're kind of like spirit creatures, and they allow their owner to kind of control the elements and do all sorts of really cool epic stuff, so it's very, very cool. It focuses on these 2 characters called Almara, who is a young girl, very powerful, and a young boy called Tabby, who has no fury, but he's a very, very courageous and endearing character. So it's a really, really fast-paced and very fun action fantasy, so if you like that kind of thing, definitely worth picking up. Again, I gave this one 4 out of 5 stars. If you've seen my unboxing recently, then you know that I now have all of the others in that series, so I do intend to pick some of them up very, very soon. Next, I picked up The Light Fantastic, which is book number 2 in the Discworld series, and this is the end of the story arc involving Rincewind and Twoflower, who are the main characters of book 1 and 2, and I really enjoyed this story. I thought that because a lot of the world building had been done in book 1, it was really so fun, so action-packed, and just so much wacky fun stuff happened. I really enjoyed it, and you get to see a lot more of the world, and I cannot wait to carry on picking up all of the books in this series after reading it, because it's just so fun. It's such a different experience to a dark, deep fantasy that you really have to concentrate on. It's just really wacky, really fun and enjoyable, and I gave this one 4 out of 5 stars. Then I picked up The Age of Miracles, which is a YA book by Karen Thompson Walker. This is about the stretching of time. Time is gradually getting slower, and we start to notice it, that our clocks are actually getting out of sync with the days and the daylight hours, and time is just slowing down, causing all sorts of terrible things to happen on the Earth. Our story is told from the point of view of a young girl called Julia. Julia is only 11, so the story is told through her eyes. I personally didn't really like her as a character, so I didn't enjoy the story that much, and I ended up only giving it a 2-star rating. But I would say that if you don't mind lack of character development, then you probably will really enjoy this, so it's up to you if you pick it up. And then finally, the only book that I do have with me, because I bought this one back to uni when I came back because I was still reading it, is The Last 4 Things, and this is book 2 in the Left Hand of God trilogy, which is by Paul Hoffman. I read the first one years and years ago, and I wanted to pick up this one because I had it on my shelf for ages and I just felt like reading it, and I also just recently purchased the 3rd one, so I wanted to give them all a try and get back into the world. And it focuses on a sanctuary full of monks where this young boy called Thomas Cale has grown up, and it's a very harsh lifestyle. They're called Redeemers, and they live by the code of punishment. They are very harsh on their followers. They're very nasty, very evil creatures. Thomas Cale has been brought up being beaten and barely fed, and horrible, horrific things have been done to him and in front of him and all sorts of things. So it's a really interesting story from the point of view of religion, and it's just a very, very exciting story. So definitely I would recommend this series to you guys if you're into religion and sort of the corruption that it can cause. It's not focused on a real religion, it is made up, but it has links to modern day religion and the Bible, so it's really cool. And I'm not religious, but I liked it, so I ended up giving this one 3 out of 5 stars, more like a 3.5, because I liked the first one a lot and I gave it 4 stars. This one wasn't quite as good because not quite as much happened, but it was definitely building up to something bigger in the 3rd book, so I'm sure that that will be good. So those are all of the books that I read. Definitely let me know if you guys have recently read any of these books. Tell me what you thought of them. Put spoiler at the top if you are going to put spoilers. And just thank you guys for watching, and I will see you all very, very soon for my TBR and also to review this. I have done reviews of all of the other books, so if you want to see them, they are all on my channel. Just check them out and you guys can discuss them in more detail with me because I love doing that. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you all very soon in my next video. Bye! Me and you gonna have a little chat